So, yeah, Burt Young passed away at the time it's recording, not even, got the news less than 24 hours ago. In fact, it was 9:30, 9:40 my time at night when I was about to fall asleep because I had to get up early for work. And the news came in, and I was like, wow. A listener of our show gave me the news, and I was like, I can't believe it. I would have woken up to it. Maybe it would have been better to wake up to it because, I could have slept better. So I won't say anything that thousands of people, especially people that speak much better than I do, have already said. Friends, families of Burt's. Burt didn't know me. He didn't know me from nobody. But I feel like I knew him a little bit. And part of the beauty of being an actor, I would say an actor or artist, a true artist or an actor, not just a celebrity, because people are celebrities who don't really deserve to be celebrities. Anyways, the point is we sometimes feel like we know that person. It would be illogical of me to say I even knew Burt. I think sometimes actors, I could be wrong, they do reveal a little bit about themselves when they act, even if the role is obviously not written by them, it's written for them. I think when Sly wrote the character of Polly, I think as Sly continued to write that character, I think we saw more of how Sly felt about Burt Young and the Polly character, and as we as an audience grew to love him. I mean, his character was tumultuous, troublesome, angry, but then he really did love, in his own way, his sister and his brother-in-law. When I started this podcast, boy, in 2016, it's hard to believe. At that time, Tony Burton had just passed away, but the podcast hadn't officially started. I think it started shortly after his passing. And I guess I should have known logically that when you start something 6, 7 years ago, that the actors that are in this franchise of films that I'm covering on the podcast, that eventually they're going to pass away. And 83 is a full life. And so, though it's sad that Burt passed, I don't bemoan the fact that he didn't have a full life. He was an artist, a painter, full of laughter, friends, family, and of course, movie star. He was in movies, got to work with some of the greats in the world, some really incredible films. And he was a really great character actor, which is a great way to be. I also just want to pay a little bit of tribute. It's not much. I never met him. There's people that are part of my podcast, guests that I've had on the show that have met Burt Young in person, have pictures with him, and some of those social media friends of mine have posted those pictures. I never had the honor to speak to him. I've only had the fun honor to talk about his time in the Rocky franchise, and it's just been a lot of fun talking about the Paulie character. It probably brings the most laughs to me and my co-host throughout the years. Of course, some of the favorite things we do is we do the voice of "she's posted." It's I'm going to miss that, and it's going to be sad. And part of the reason why I'm doing this very quick. I probably already talked too long. People probably already stopped listening to me. We did a recording of our podcast, the One More Round podcast, where it was recorded before the passing of Burt Young, but of course it's coming out after the passing. So I just want to acknowledge that when that recording comes out, people are going to be wondering, why didn't you guys speak to Burt Young's passing? So that's why. Say on behalf of myself and my other fellow co-hosts, both past and present, of course, we have all extended on our social medias. They have all done it, have extended their sadness of the passing of Burt. But I don't think anyone's really devastated. I say that with the idea that, again, he lived a full life, touched a lot of people's hearts, both family, friends, and fans. That's good. And that's a good thing. It should be celebrated. But again, just doing this podcast, this silly Hammond podcast, I've just grown to love him as an actor and as a character even more. Sad that one of the big three has passed on. And I say the big three, of course, it's Sly, Talia, and Burt. Oh, I do want to say one thing. I did reach out to Burt Young's camp. When I first started this podcast, like I said, 7 years ago, I reached out to a few people. Of course, Burt was one of them. And I will say his people or his handlers were kind enough to say not at this time, which is more than some people have ever said to me when I've asked to come on the podcast. So I am sad that I never got to talk to him. It does make me, as a podcaster, it makes me a little bit sad I never got to interview him or talk to him. I have him hear him share stories. And I knew at the time, and when I did ask that question to have him on the show, that I knew he didn't have forever left on the planet. And I was kind of hoping that the podcasting gods would have smiled favorably upon me and given me a chance to speak to him. But that's okay. It's not about me. I just thought our listeners would have had a good time hearing some stories. But I just want to say thank you to Burt Young's management for at least coming back and saying, not at this time. So, Burt, maybe when we hook up there somewhere, you will share a story with me at that time. And I can't wait. Rest in peace, brother.